Welcome back, everyone, to the After the Scales podcast presented by DJD Graphics, episode 83. I'm Jacob Dove along with Sean Blight. On today's episode, we got Lucas Oil Dirt Late Model driver CORY LAWLER joining us out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. CORY, thanks again. I know we've done this before. It's not your first time. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties the first time, so we really appreciate you coming on again.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, guys.
So you probably have to be relieved that you get a break now a little bit from racing. You had a long 2025 season running with Lucas. Kind of just walk us through that. Obviously, it was a up and down year, but I know a lot of guys are kind of looking forward to taking some time to reset off the off season and then quickly get back to racing next year.
Yeah, it's good having some time off, I guess. it's almost more work for us, to be honest. At the store, you know, we get to work in business all winter, so I don't know. I could be on the road; it wouldn't bother me.
So looking back on 2025, man, you made some big progress compared to the year before. Jacob and I were at the Dream, and one of my highlights of the year actually was seeing you get out of the car after you made the feature for the prelim night. Even those prelim features, man, they were so stacked. Talk about your year and some of the highs that when you look back, really make you feel proud.
The one that probably highlights the entire year is the heat race went out there in Knoxville. That was in dominating fashion. That was pretty awesome. You know, it shows we can do it. It's just got to put all the pieces together. You know, yeah, it's good. You know, we've met pretty much every goal we set for the year. You know, so that's half the battle. But you know, we're plugging away at it. We'll you know, set some higher goals for next year and see if we can improve you know, in the end of the year points as well again.
Yeah, I remember watching that Knoxville feature, or the heat race, I mean, and man, everybody was pumped for you. I know the guys up in the booth, James Essex, Justin Jarrett, and all those guys were just completely delighted that you were able to get that heat race win. And I know even on social media too, people were pumped for you. So, you know, is little stuff like that, you know, for your program. I mean, it's really just, you know, you and your dad out there traveling on national touring series. And I know a lot of people have highlighted that, you know, it really is just you guys just trying to live the dream, you know, moving forward into next year. I mean, are you guys looking at doing the same exact thing, or do you have some other plans on maybe, you know, stepping up as far as equipment wise, or maybe taking on some extra crew guys or anything like that?
Our plans are going to stay the same. You know, our plan is to race Lucas again. You know, we may, you know, sign to do the outlaw stuff in Florida and see how it goes, but we'll play it by ear and get to Florida first and decide then. But yeah, as far as another crew guy, you know, we've talked about it. And, you know, if we find the right person, we would. But honestly, the two of us, we work really well together. So it's as long as we get, you know, our tires done before we get to the racetrack, it's really not, you know, that big of a deal. Yeah, I don't think we really had too many times that we really, you know, missed something because we had two people. So it really doesn't bother us, to be honest. Yeah, we're pretty focused on getting some new race cars under us. You know, we got to go down and pick up a new one next week, and you know, trying to acquire another motor or two, just to make all that stuff easier, for sure.
Yes, you were talking about your setting some higher goals for next year. What are some of those?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but you know, definitely some more heat race wins for sure. We'd really like to see ourselves in the top 10 Lucas Oil points next year for sure. Yeah, and same if we were to switch over to the Outlaws. I'm not saying we will, but just that if we would, I definitely want to be in the top 10 there. I feel like it's capable. It's just we gotta get going on the right foot, you know, in Florida to kind of set us up for the rest of the year there. But you know, just to keep qualifying for features, not to have to use provisional as much. You know, we always look at, you know, like I said, heat race wins, B-main wins, you know, realistic stuff like that.
And last time we had you on, actually, you were just transitioning from the Rocket chassis over to the Longhorn. It's obviously no surprise that a lot of people are making the changes, but now you have a full year under the belt running Longhorn. And obviously, you told us kind of off camera before what the differences was, but I mean, what are your satisfaction now? Now that you've gotten comfortable with the car and just some of the support that Longhorn has given you.
It's been good. It's definitely been a learning curve for sure. It's a totally different race car than the Rocket stuff. So, it was something to figure out and kind of see what fit us, and what fit me as a driver as well. But this year we brought on Keith Burner from Afterburner Performance. And we worked hand in hand almost every night, as far as car setup goes and shocks and springs and stuff. So having him on board, I think, was a big positive to our program. I feel like if we had somebody like that when we had our Rocket, probably would have been a little bit different story. But trying to be your own crew chief, I guess, is a little tough. But when you have somebody that can kind of be on the phone or be available during the race night or even at the racetrack, and answer questions you may have or kind of point you in the right direction, that's hard to beat.
So there's quite a bit of accomplished late model drivers in your area, Hanover, Pennsylvania, racing at Port Royal and stuff. Rick Eckert comes to mind right off the bat. But you are from big sprint car country. What got you into late models? How'd you get your start into racing, and what kind of got you on the path that you're on right now?
Well, my dad actually raced sprint cars back probably 10 years ago, and they actually had like a couple of different drivers. Like they didn't have an outlaw team, but it basically was. So they raced a ton of races as far as sprint cars go for many years. But my dad raced late models when I was kind of getting into the business and getting into racing, and I've always liked it since. I was always a big Josh Richards fan, so that kind of pointed me in that direction. I never really looked back. I mean, but honestly, I raced 600 micros for, I don't know, 2 years or so, before I got into late models. So, that is kind of a jump, but I just always have liked the late model stuff. And like I said, my dad raced it, so that's half the reason, I guess, probably.
Yeah, I always think it's cool when there's a father and son duo being able to run a national tour and work together and all that. Obviously, it has its positive and negatives. Sometimes, father and son can butt heads, but it seems like you guys make it work. And obviously, it's really unique with your situation with Poncho's Racing Products. Kind of walk us through, your normal day there. Obviously, you're busy with the off season, trying to get orders and parts and all that stuff. So, what's kind of like the behind the scenes as far as your role?
Well, whenever we're home, and we get home as much as we can, honestly. I work at front desk. If you call up the store, I'll take your order. It's part of my job. I do a lot of, all of our social media marketing, website sales, website design, the whole nine yards. So I take care of all that. And like I said, I do a lot of the day-to-day stuff as well, even down to shipping packages out. So it's, like I said, my dad owns the business, so that's kind of part of it. But we get home, like I said, as much as we can during the season. Even if we got to drive extra just to get home, the business always comes first because you got to make money to spend money. So, but I mean, like right now we're getting ready for our big open house Black Friday sale. We always run usually a 10% off sale, Black Friday. So it's a pretty big time of the year for us. And coming into the off season here, everybody's in full rebuild mode. So it's about to get busy. We get to work on the race car, usually during the evenings. We're actually put in the middle of putting glass doors in the back of the hauler. So that's we've been working on that for, I don't know, probably freaking 4 weeks now, just because of time when we can work on it. And then besides the fact it gets cold and dark out at 4 o'clock, but so it really limits my race car time, but that's all right. We've balanced it out all right.
Where is your shop located? If people wanted to come check out your Black Friday sale.
It's located right in Hanover, Pennsylvania. So like the racing product store is it's in the same building as my race shop. So it's all we own a 26,000 square foot building, right in between a couple of the car dealerships here, about a mile and a half from Lincoln Speedway. So if anybody's ever on the sprint car side of things, where all the Shark Racing 1A 1S shop used to be, we're right out front of them. So it's
Perfect.
we're center sprint car country.
And I know Sean and I are rocking our CORY LAWLER shirts that we got from you at Eldora. Obviously, you posted on social media about some panels that you got, which is an absolute steal. I know Sean and I are going to be wanting to get some of those. But as far as all the merch and all that stuff, people can just go directly through you that if they want to support you.
Yeah, either that or on my website, CORYLAWLER.com. We're actually in the middle of getting a new website done with my race pass, so we should be looking for updates here within the next month or so. But yeah, we should have some new merch coming out here in the beginning of the season. With the new white car with the black number. We didn't get anything here at the end of the season, but we'll work on that here to start off.
Yeah, that's just what Jacob and I wanted to hear because I know we're both going to be at Volusia for the kickoff.
Yeah.
So we're pretty excited about that. Speaking of going where it's warm, you just had a big trip yourself. So tell us a little bit about your trip, your kickoff to the off season, I guess.
Yeah, my family and I, we all went to the Bahamas for, I don't know, 5 or 6 days. Actually, right out the week after Dirt Track World Championship. So that was a nice break. Kind of, we haven't been on vacation as a family in probably 4 years, probably, just because of our busy schedule. My brother's in college, so the time we're all home, it's very little. So we kind of got to make it all work, and whenever we can do it, we roll.
Is that something you guys are maybe going to do to kind of decompress at the end of a long season now from now on?
If we can, get away for a couple of days somewhere warm, it's fine. You know, Anywhere in Florida or somewhere on the beach would be fine. Just somewhere that's not 10 degrees.
Yeah, you got to come on down and eat some fried gator with me.
That's all right. I'm good with that.
No, I've actually been meaning to go to Pennsylvania because, I'm jealous with the amount of gas stations and Amish food and chocolate milk and all the stuff you guys got up there in Pennsylvania. So maybe I need to take a trip up there.
We got the rudders and sheets handled here. We're good.
Yeah.
We're good. We may be getting that rudders right across the street in the coming years. So keep our fingers crossed.
That's bad news.
That'd be awesome. Looks like lunch every day.
Before we let you go, Corey, we really appreciate you doing this with us again. We can't let you go without wrapping up with our DJD Gear rapid fire segment. We've got 10 questions for you. I think we tried to shake them up this time from what we did last time. Jacob, whenever you're ready, go ahead.
All right, first one, we got an easy one. Why the number 93?
That was when my dad ran.
Any significance backstory to that, or?
Not really. That's just the number he always was. That's the one I took on.
Gotcha. And speaking of your dad, the next one was actually where did your dad's name Poncho come from?
His dad nicknamed him Poncho after Poncho Carter. I believe it was Indy cars back in the day. His dad passed away when he was younger, so it kind of stuck with him throughout his life.
And there's this big stereotype in Pennsylvania, but how often do you see Amish horses and carriages on the road in Pennsylvania?
It depends on the area. Where we're at, not at all. But you get over towards Lancaster or up near Shippensburg area, they're pretty popular around there.
And what's the best place to hang out in Hanover, non-gas station related?
We go to Buffalo Wild Wings a lot, so that's kind of our go-to.
And you just shortly mentioned about rudders, so obviously we have to ask between rudders, sheets, or Wawa, what's your go-to?
Oh, hi rudders. Definitely not Wawa. Not Wawa fan. It's all right, but it's good.
That's the only one we have down here in Florida, unfortunately. But moving on, driver you get along with the best in the pit area.
Probably Carson Ferguson is probably one that I get along with pretty well.
And we just had on after the scales not too long ago. So
yeah, I did see that.
What's a racetrack that is the most challenging in your opinion?
Probably Port Royal. It's probably the top of the list. I struggle there pretty good.
PA guy struggling in PA. That's hard to believe.
Yeah, they could just not go there, be fine. I'd be good.
And what's a racetrack that you haven't raced at yet that you would like to go to?
Deer Creek up in Wisconsin. I think it's in Wisconsin. Sounds like a good. It always puts on good racing when I watch it. So
that's a good one. This one's going to get controversial, but just because you're in PA. So which fan base is more diehard in your opinion, sprint car fans or late model fans?
Late model for sure.
You hear that, Sean?
Hey, late model fans are different, and I mean that in a good way. Like
they are.
I love watching late model fans watch races because they get into it big time. Like they'll be giving the finger to who they don't like, and they'll be pumping their fist like with the passing that's going on. I find them they really get into it.
Oh, we're at Highland, Illinois earlier in the year with the Outlaws, and let me tell you, we qualified through our heat race that night, and I think we were in the first heat race or something, so I got to watch the last 2 or 3 of them, and they were packed in there. Let me tell you, they were rowdy. There was a rowdy bunch there.
Yeah, like if you go up, say turn 3 or 4 at Eldora for the Dream of the World, where the fans have been sitting there drinking all day, it's a totally different vibe when you go to the same spot to watch the King's Royal. And like sprint car fans are passionate, but they're not as animated. I think that's the big difference. Or late model fans, like they wear their emotions on their sleeves.
They're into it. They're into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure we know which car they were giving the middle finger to. But anyways, last question for you, Corey. And obviously we have to plug this in because it's your family business. But what's the craziest or most unique item you think that sells at Poncho's Racing Products?
That's a good question. Man.
Just something that you were surprised that you got an inquiry about.
It's probably got to be a sprint car part, to be honest.
Well, with the sprint car order, it's probably about a traction control device.
No, they got big enough tires. They're good on that.
What about just a crazy order?
Probably a double wide bearing bird cage on a sprint car. I got 2 bearings on each side. Some guys run it, but that's just odd.
Sprint car guys are odd in general, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just. I mean they're okay to deal with. They got their thought process a little different. Us late model guys, we got like 6 shocks to deal with. They got like 4 torsion bars, so it's easy. Not easy, but it's simple. Should be at least.
All right, man. We really appreciate your time. Thanks again for coming on. Looking forward to seeing you next year. I know we'll be seeing you down at Volusia, and I was kind of hoping the Lucas schedule would have come out by now so I could narrow down where I'd be seeing you. But I assume Port Royal in the spring. I'll probably be there too.
I don't know. We'll see. But hopefully they bring it out soon. I'd like to see it, to be honest. Yeah. I've heard some rumblings, but we'll see.
Yeah, we got to get a late model race up here in Canada too. We finally got the sprint cars to cross the border, and we need it.
That's a lot of work, you know that?
Yeah,
that's a lot of extra everything to go there.
Yeah, hey, the sprint car guys will do it. So,
I'd honestly like to see them go out west a little bit farther.
Yeah,
but a little bit at a time.
Yeah,
they'll get there.
All right, man. We appreciate you. Best of luck in 2026, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yep, sounds good. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it, Jacob.
After the Scales is proudly presented by DJD Graphics. From commercial and personal vehicles to racing bikes and cars of all makes, models, and disciplines, DJD Graphics can fully customize your vehicle to suit your needs. For more information, contact Darren and visit his website at www.djdgraphics.com. Tell him Sean and Jacob sent you to receive special rates.
All right. Thanks again to Corey for being on today's episode. And make sure to go check out Poncho's Racing Products and support Corey and his dad and all they do for racing. And before we conclude today's episode, we wanted to recap this past weekend a little bit. I was down at Sonoya Raceway in Georgia. And, man, it was absolute chaos both nights. I know Sean was, trying to stay awake watching the fender cars going around in circles. But, Sean, what were your thoughts on that? Obviously, we saw Davenport absolutely dominate. and a lot of controversy between Pierce and Overton, and a bunch of controversial calls and all that.
Yeah, for the record, I wasn't bored. Most of it was me just trying to catch up on sleep that I didn't get at Charlotte, and then the cold that I got at Charlotte thanks to the red dirt flu, which I'm sure is a thing. I saw Nicole Senior on Facebook saying that she was sick too. So yeah, I mean the Jonathan Davenport show for sure. But a lot of great racing, especially in the B mains, the heat races. You had a front row seat kind of the exit of turn 4 for a lot of it. So anyone who follows After the Scales Media on Facebook, which you should by now, was seeing some pretty cool photos and videos that you were posting. So maybe you can talk about some of the action that happened right in front of you.
Yeah, the first one coming to mind was Brunson and Pierce making contact and spinning, and well, Pierce ended up doing a 360 and kept going, and he ended up getting a spot back. And obviously, people thought he should have been sent to the tail, like Bronson was sent to the tail for being a part of the caution. But they said his tires never stopped, and he kept going. So the blend-in rule came into effect. But I don't know. I don't agree with that decision, and obviously not just because it's Bobby Pierce, but just because the blend-in rule was supposed to be for sprint cars, and now we got in late models. So I think they're going to change it moving forward, because we've seen Davenport, who's leading the race. He spun out to keep from hitting Tyler Millwood, who spun right in front of him. And they went on the intercom and said that, because he didn't make contact with the car, that he was able to get a spot back. But I seen with my two eyes there that, he did make some contact there, and obviously it sucks being the leader, right? And you have to get on the binders. But yeah, it's just a crappy situation that, a lot of negativity is coming away from the weekend, despite the good racing we did see. But the biggest storyline of the whole weekend was definitely Brandon Overton and Bobby Pierce. I didn't see the initial contact on the back straightaway where Overton and Pierce were battling for second. And Pierce was battling for the championship points, the $75,000 bonus. So he was doing anything he could, right, to try to win it, and cut Overton off going into the corner. Obviously, they made contact and then cut tire down on Overton, sending him into the turn 1 wall really hard, and he was not happy. I'm sure anybody that watches late models saw the famous flying helmet directly towards the 32, and then some choice words in the pit area. So it was absolutely chaotic. Yeah. I thought we were going to have a big brawl in the pits. Luckily, nobody didn't get seriously hurt. So definitely entertaining, though, if I have to say so myself.
Yeah, there was about 1 million people around the 32 in the pits. It was pretty wild to see. Like, you're just waiting for something to happen, and you see that many people gather around a race car with tempers. It's amazing that nothing really transpired. I know there was like a couple pushes, but nothing serious. So yeah, never a dull moment, man, especially the end of the year. I mean, people are exhausted, running on fumes, tempers are short. And yeah, that racing at Sonoya did not disappoint. So that's a track I think I'd like to get to in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it sucks that there's a lot of negative stuff that came from it, but there was a lot of great racing, and obviously it's a great facility. I think Bubba Pollard does a great job with track prep, and they had a great job doing stuff outside of the racing scene with the bonfire, and there was concerts both nights. So definitely a great event to get out to, and I do recommend anybody coming down south and checking out Sonoya. So appreciate them for having me and doing all the media stuff. Looking forward to doing some more media stuff in the future. But yeah, this really just raises the question, what's this set up for the Dome, right? Gateway Dirt Nationals is one of the biggest late model races of the year. I know me and you are looking forward to seeing, what happens, because it's usually pretty chaotic there too.
Yeah, it's really become a must-watch event or a must-attend event. Really something I wasn't even aware of until really a couple of years ago, and it's just really exploded. So hopefully one of these years I'll get to check that out. Do want to mention, since racing is pretty much done, at least here on the East Coast, next week we're going to be talking to Alex Bergeron. So if you don't know who he is, he races 360s up here in Canada. He's from Quebec. He races with the Southern Ontario Sprints. But where Jacob knows him from, and where a lot of people might know him from, is from iRacing. And he is racing in the World of Outlaws iRacing Championship. which happens every Monday night. So you can check that out on YouTube and Facebook. We are going to be sponsoring his car. So that's kind of a cool announcement that we've got. So we'll be talking to Alex next week, but his race will be on Monday. So we'll have to do a recap of that. So if you want to check that out, just follow us or follow Alex Bergeron Racing on Facebook.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. Definitely have some questions to ask him about him, kicking our butts every year at iRacing and all that stuff. He's definitely won some big races on there. So make sure you tune in for that. We do appreciate everyone for tuning in to today's episode. As always, I know it sounds repetitive, but please like, subscribe, comment down below, and continue to support us by giving the follow button. And we definitely appreciate it. And thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next one.